Greetings to all the viewers. The concept what we selected is natural kind, and most of the urban areas are facing the problem called fog. So, based on the what real time problem we choose in the topic, that's the reason why it may add a small impact, a small kind of measures to mitigate, or else we can retard the condition which is very severe and dangerous during the transportation process in the urban areas. That's the reason why the topic chosen for the day is smoke, fog, and fumes. Among all, the focus is purely on laying on the concept called fog, fight against conflicting fog. This was taken as the theme for this session. Let's see what kind of what is called smoke, what is called fog, what are called fumes, and what distinctive differences we can notice among smoke, fog, and fumes. Later on, we will go for what impacts, what kind of adverse effects which are exerted by these kind of materials in specific focus with the fog. Later on, the most important segment, how can we go for mitigating this kind of conflicting fog. Let's see the topic, what we choose in fog. First of all, smoke, fog, fumes. So, what are the main differences among all these? We have to understand. All resembles the same, all are gaseous in nature only, but certain distinctive differences we can notice. Let's see. These are all airborne mixtures only. All are airborne mixtures only, so which are generated within the air, but differs in the composition, source, and behavior. Smoke, fog, fumes are generated in the air itself, but their composition and the source of generation and their effects all are different only. Let's find individual components. Smoke. Definition of smoke is provided: the collection of solid particles and liquid droplets, aerosols we can regard, suspended in the air produced by the combustion process. For example, let me take the log. Log was taken that subjected to the combustion process. If oxygen is not sufficiently available, what happens that at that less oxygen supply, that used to give the largest amount of fumes over there, that is called as smoke. Whenever we are cooking with the fuel wood, so this is a common experience most of the rural people can experience. Smoke is as a common thing in the fuel wood cooking process, right? There is a kind of mist particles will be there, and liquid droplets which are regarded as aerosols. They are generated by the process of combustion. It is not complete combustion, rather we can say impartial combustion, right? So that these particles may mixed up with the air and causes a kind of haziness, right? Composition. So the smoke is composed by the solid particles. In that you can find carbon and ash particles are present. This we can say particulate matter. And gaseous byproducts will be there: carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide. Carbon monoxide and sulfur dioxide, also the particles which are gaseous in nature, these also generating the smoke. Volatile organic matter. Some organic substances may use to generate this kind of smoke. By burning of organic materials also, smoke or else these kind of fumes will be generated. Health impact, this is most important to understand. If we know adverse effect, then only we can go for its remedy, right? That's why we have to know what kind of bad effect or health impact we can notice by means of the consumption of smoke. Obviously, any kind of gaseous substance which entering into the human organ, what happens? The first impacted one will be respiratory system itself, because gaseous particles will enter through the nozzle respiration process only. That's why this able to cause smoke, able to cause respiratory and even cardiovascular issues as well. After the respiratory system, lungs and related devices, later on that air enters into the heart and pumping of blood, the cardiovascular system entirely, blood pumping system entirely affected by this process. And irritation. So commonly, smoke is having this kind of irritating particulate matter like sulfur dioxide is present, carbon monoxide is present. That used to induce the irritation. If it irradiated with the eye, that used to give the irritation, redness of the eye, tears generated over there. Such a kind of impact is generated, and even when we are taking this kind of smoke inside, what happens? We will get the immediate cough because it is damaging the tissue over there, and it irritates that mucus. And the long term health effects like cancer, if smoke is continuously consumed for the longer time, that may leads to the abnormal cell division, giving rise to the malignant cancers as well. This is the way smoke able to give the so many health impacts. That's the reason why nowadays the clean fuel, we switched to clean fuel from the firewood, right? The next, we entered into another segment called fog. Let's define the fog, a natural atmospheric phenomenon caused by the suspension of tiny water droplets or ice crystals near the Earth's surface. Especially, this is observed in the winter season only. When we wake up in the early in the morning, what happens? Everybody can notice that kind of fumes or haziness or cloudiness on the surface of Earth. Whatever clouds we notice in the sky, in the same condition we can notice on the earth, that is said to be a fog, right? This is a natural phenomenon only, especially in the low temperature winter seasons. This kind of condition we can notice. Water droplets are able to crystallize themselves, and near the earth's surface only that haziness can be generated. Composition. Tiny water droplets are liquid either in the form of liquid form or else ice crystals may be deposited on the surface of the earth. That is said to be a fog. Fog is a kind of water only, water droplets only. There is a condition in between the liquid and crystalline or solid form. That kind of nature is present. That is said to be a fog. Formation, cooling. Whenever the air temperature drops, that at the dew point, water vapor condenses, right? Whenever, as we already aware about the atmosphere which is surrounding us, right? So in our atmosphere is nothing but mixture of gases only. Maximum extent nitrogen content will be there. After the nitrogen, 18% of water or moisture vapors. Water vapors are available in the nature, right? So whenever temperature lowers, all the vapors present in the atmosphere got condensed. Those condensed particles are slowly getting down because their density got higher. Higher density slowly dropping down. That used to give the haziness on the surface of the earth, so that water vapor condensation giving rise to the fog by means of cooling process. Evaporation. Whenever moisture is added to the air is more humid in nature. So the humidity is nothing but water content present in the air. The region which is very near to the water resources, that is having high humidity, high water content will be there. In the arid regions, water content will be there in the air, that is dry air. So that whenever moistened air is present, that used to increase the humidity. As the humidity increases, what happens? Air density will be more, and it reaches certain point called saturation. Saturation means what? That extent, maximum extent of holding that water vapor with that air is called, it's a saturation. If we are exceeding the saturation point, that means that dissolvability of water in the air is exceeded, so that excessive water content will be deposited on the surface of earth in the form of haziness, which we are seeing over here. Health impact. So this is a kind of condition by which fog formation is possible. Health impact, usually harmless but can cause accidents due to the reduced visibility. This is a natural phenomenon only. Fog formation is the natural one only. But whenever this fog conditions are present in the on the road highways, air transportation, water transportation, trivey transportation, that reduces the visibility. Whatever the things are there far from us, we are not able to identify, because the visibility will be clarity of the road will be very less, so that we are not able to identify whatever coming in front of us. So accidents are more prone whenever fog conditions, especially possible in the early in the morning. Fumes. Next concept is related with another segment called fumes. Let's define these fumes. A collection of fine solid particles suspended in the air, often resulting from the vapor condensation, a chemical reaction during the process like welding and combustion. Whenever we are combusting any material that used to give a gaseous combusting gases will be evolved. This is the main cause for the fume formation. Fumes are occur due to a vapor condensation. Vapor condensation is used to give the fumes. That is the one criteria for that. When chemical reactions, some chemical, when we are combining to reactant, that is giving rise to the product in addition to the fumes as well, that is also the cause. While the combustion, obviously there is a liberation of gaseous products, that is also the cause for the fume formation. Composition: solid particles will be present, either metal oxides or a soot, mist, soot, whatever the thing, mixed with the gases and vapors. Whenever these fumes are mixing with any other substances that are becoming toxic in nature, this is the adverse effect with these fumes. Health impact. Obviously, fumes are also aerosols, gaseous in nature. Again, the first impact is observed in the respiratory tract, either in the windpipe or else in the lung system. They get adversely impacted, and another device which is in direct contact with the fumes will be ice, and even skin irradiation. Skin will be radiated with the fumes, that will give the dermatology related problems. And the chronic in the sense, if these fumes are highly toxic in nature, that induce hazardous impact on the health, that are called a chronic impact. Long-term exposure can lead to the diseases like pneumonitis, asthma, even metal fume fever, right? Pneumonitis is nothing but it is the lung infection only, respiratory disorder only. Asthma, that used to contract the windpipe, respiratory tract will be contracted, so that inhalation, exhalation will become a problematic one. A metal fume fever, that is the kind of consumption of metals over there in the form of fumes that induce the thermal disorder within the human organisms. So this is the way fumes can be defined. Now, how fog formation is possible? How the fog is formed? The main focus is upon the fog only, because this is the hazardous one, especially in the winter season for the transportation process. Either it might be a waterway, roadway, or airway. So these three are badly impacted in this winter season. Let's see how the fog formation is possible. Hazy fog is common in winter due to the combination of atmospheric conditions to promote the condensation of water vapor and the trapping the particulate matter. And water evaporated water will be condensed over there, so that water slowly becoming a droplets or else a crystallization even possible at lower temperature, and that may mixed with another solid particulate matter. Whenever solid particulate matter got mixed up, that is becoming a hazy clouds are generated on the earth, simply that is called a fog. And impact of hazy fog: reduced visibility. This is common impact we can see wherever we are traveling. One second. Here, the major impact by the fog, hazy fog, will be it is most hazardous while traveling, because it used to reduce the visibility. That's the reason why there is a more provision for the accidents. right? That is the main concern regarding this one. And the health concerns will be there. Particulate matter, hazy fog can irritate the respiratory system, and that used to induce the asthma and bronchitis. Asthma is a kind of respiratory respiration difficulty in the respiration process. Bronchitis is a kind of loss of flexibility in the lung, enlargement and contraction process. Disruption of daily activities while traveling and shipping. Outdoor activities due to the poor visibility. So outdoor activities are becoming very difficult because they people are not able to travel for the longer distances, especially in the longer longer traveling conditions, and even in the shipping process and the marine system, and even in the air transportation, there is a poor visibility, so that these daily activities are entirely disturbed. Prevention and safety measures. We can have the healthier climate, cleaner air, and the stronger regional economy with the clean fuels now. Right, this is most valuable quote we have. A clear fuel life cycle is mentioned over here. Cleaner fuels are most important. While combustion, if the fuel is not emitting any kind of hazardous fumes into the air, that is the main thing by which we can mainly reduce this kind of conditions in the urban and metropolitan cities especially, right? Promote public transportation to reduce the vehicular emissions. We can apt road transportation, which is available and the public interest. So that kind of devices we can choose, so that the maximum extent, because being it is a bulk transportation system, it used to emit the lesser extent of pollutants into the air. That is the most important perception we have to develop. Instead of private, we have to go for the public transportation systems. And though we are using private transportation, that must be with the renewable resources of energy, like battery driven, or else any other kind of biofuels is another alternative we have. That kind of new and alternative methods we have to utilize in order to reduce the fog conditions. And this is the most important one. Nowadays, most of the countries, especially India as well, is adopting ethanol blending into the petrol. It is multi-dimensional, useful form. How it will be important to blend the ethanol with petrol, because petrol is a kind of non-renewable resource which is available in the limited manner, and direct petrol combustion giving rise to certain extent of pollution. And another is importing of that kind of fuels are some economically that give the burden over the nations. So many kind of things matters for the ethanol blending into the petrol and diesel as well. Ethanol is the advantages of usage ethanol into the blending of petrol or else a diesel. There are certain advantages we have. The first thing is the ethanol generation. Its manufacturing is possible from the waste of the crops, especially from this sugarcane crop waste can be utilized for the manufacturing or synthesis of ethanol, so that waste to fuel formation is possible. That is the first thing. And the second, by blending ethanol, though it is the kind of fuel only, but it is manufactured at the local land, we can say, so that importing charges will be minimized. Second thing. And third is, in comparison to the normal fuel, ethanol combustion is liberating lesser extent of emissions, so that blending of ethanol will improve the quality of the fuel and combustion gases will be minimized. This is the way ethanol blending is mandatory in so many countries. Even India is mandating a blending of ethanol into the petrol. This is the green footstep towards the sustainable environment, sustainable earth. Let's go with the another measurement to mitigate this fog conditions, improve visibility. Fog is reducing the visibility, so poor visibility is possible with that one. How can we mitigate? So fog lights are available, so though air is very densey, very unclear, at that condition also the lights, fog lights, if you are equipped in our vehicle, so that used to improve the visibility. So these are the special kind of devices which are purely manufactured in order to reduce the effect of fog conditions in the urban regions especially. Right, so fog lights are used to improve the visibility conditions, right? And these are also having the kind of fog lights which used to improve the brightness is more in that hazy condition. And another unnecessary traveling should be stopped. So if actually that traveling is required, then only we have to go for that long distance traveling. Otherwise, be safe at home only. This is the most important condition in the fog environment. And the next, stay indoors. Sorry, particularly during the severe pollution related fog, to minimize the exposure to harmful particles, we have to stay at indoors only. That is the most safest method. Prevention is better than cure always, right? So that in the pollution related fog, that can't be minimized, that can't be prevented. At that condition, we have to wait until the entire system is very clear. So that prevention is better than cure in this. Stay indoors is another alternative in order to combat the fog. Defogging sprays, these are also valuable, right? So these are the solutions designed to prevent the fogging conditions in the surfaces like glass, plastic, and lenses. If fog completely covered upon the surface of the glasses, plastics, and lenses, what happens? It totally cloudy in nature. We can't see anything outside which is there outside, because it's totally covered with this kind of haziness, right? At that condition, we have to spray anti-fogging agents. Anti-fogging sprays are available. Eyeglasses to be cleared, car windshields can be cleared, mirrors will be cleared, goggles will be cleared, camera lenses will be cleared by spraying defogging sprays. This is the kind of thing we can use as an alternative for the mitigating the fog. How defogging sprays work, how they are working, you can clearly observe over. Whenever defogging sprays are used, so this is totally hazy, cloudy in nature. We can't see anything. After using this one, it is so clear. This is best representation how the defogging agents are working, right? How they are working, what is the mechanism behind the working of defogging sprays, that we will see. Anti-condensation coating. So these sprays are able to generate a thin transparent layer on the surface. A clear layer will be generated over there. The layer prevents the water droplets for clustering and the main cause of fog formation. Fog is generated by combination of water vapor and condensation is possible. That condensation will be minimized whenever anti-fogging sprays are coated over, right? So that forms a film on the surface which used to minimize the condensation of vapors, right? And the surfactant action, another mechanism involved in the anti-fogging sprays are defogging sprays when consumed, when utilized, surfactant reduce the surface tension. So surface tension is possible, whatever particles which are present at the surface of the liquid, they only having higher pressure to minimize the surface region. So that tendency, that pressure tendency will be minimized by anti-fogging agents, so that condensation is becoming very low. Condensation is low, so that fog formation is low. Any other hydrophilic properties, whenever hydrophilic Anti-fogging sprays are coated, we can clearly observe coated glass is there, uncoated glass is there. Whenever anti foam coating is present, the visibility is very clear. Uncoated is giving a haziness or cloudiness over there. The same will be explained with this also. A coated layer will be present. Anti-fog coating is there. Anti-fog coating is not there. So that difference you can clearly notice. Now, what kind of chemicals or chemical compositions are present in defogging sprays? Defogging sprays are accompanied by surfactants. Break the surface tension. The main important criteria will be surface tension can be minimized. In order to minimize the surface tension, the polysiloxanes, such chemicals will be used, which are hydrophilic in nature, right? Polysiloxanes are used to minimize the surface tension so that the aggregation of the water droplets are not possible. Alcohols. We are blending these sprays with the alcohol, especially isopropyl alcohol is more effective in order to prevent this fog condition. And another most important one is a polymer create a durable anti-fog layer. So any transporting device like a glass or else mirrors and floodlights, sorry, headlights, if they are coated with the polymers, which are anti-fog layers are coated over there, that used to give the clear visibility even for the longer distances as well. Glycerin or glycerol. This is another blend we can use in the defogging sprays. Glycerin is a kind of chemical. Whenever it is added to that anti-fogging spray, used to minimize that fogging tendency. Let's clear the air. Let's clear the fog. Okay. So air fog will be cleared by using some kind of machinery, some kind of precautions, some kind of chemical devices as well. Let's see how can we clear the air. This is the bulk phenomenon we can say. If defogging sprays are used, that is applicable only for our vehicle, only for our home, only for our devices only. But when we are going to clear the entire air, the entire region, whichever suffering with the fog conditions can be relieved from that problem. Let's see how can we do that. Clearing the fog from the air involves the mitigating conditions, leads to its formation of dispersing it artificially. Fog from the entire air can be minimized. It is also possible. We have a solution to combat this problem as well. Right. When water vapors condenses into tiny droplets of water, that increase the humidity, and by cooling process they get condensed and clouds are generated. Cloudiness or haziness generated upon the earth's surface. That is the cause of fume or fog formation. Some remedies are there in order to mitigate or clear the air. Let's see how it is possible. Wherever storage is long time storage is called stagnant water, we can say such a stagnant water is not at all preferable. We have to say no to that kind of stagnant water, right? So that stagnant water is the main source for increasing humidity, so that we have to reduce such a stagnant water. Still water used to develop the pathogens as well, so that it is not yet all good practice for any kind of region. And always we have to check the humidity of the air, and especially in the winter season, humidity levels must be optimum, and the low humidity conditions are most preferable in the urban regions. Plant windbreaks. This is another kind of engineering mechanism. We can say we are able to do this. It is possible. It is possible to minimize the fog by means of inserting the windbreakers, especially. Again, plants are able to do this great work by fitting such windbreaks it is possible to break the wind whenever wind is stopped over there. Condensation of water is not possible continuously, so that the haziness may not be generated. Fog will be minimized. And another important thing will be wherever dividers are present in the road. This is one way towards upside, downside. Those should be separated by means of plantation. All the dividers must be equipped by such a plantation, so that they are working like a great barriers to break the wind, right? So wind current, so wind suspension, that what we can say, wind deposition into the fog may not be possible, right? Urban planning, the most important thing, whenever the establishment of new city may not be possible. Already existing communities are transforming into a upgraded one, right? During that, every time, the evaluation is the continuous process. We are not supposed to stay as such. So when same condition is preserved or conserved, we may not cross these many eras. So rock age will be there. Before that, only aqua system will be there. Later on, every time there is a kind of evaluation. Humans are having always a kind of search for the new things, and betterment is the common criteria in every civilization, every kind of living eras, right? So in the same manner, whenever we are transforming from one generation to another generation, or else whenever we are modifying the living community, that minimum conditions must be obeyed, so that we can. Urban planning is the most important thing in order to minimize this fog formation. How can we do that? Whenever we are constructing new cities, or else upgrading the already existing cities, we have to look into the better ventilation process. This is the most important thing. Always a wind flow must be present. If we are wind flow, ventilation, proper ventilation in the sense, along with the air, that sunlight must be penetrated in the even manner, and all kind of things, whatever naturally occurring, all kind of things naturally should be flown in a well ventilated manner. Urban areas can reduce the fog and haze by improving the airflow, and smart city layouts, they prevent the trapping cool air and pollutants. That kind of thing, we have to give the good air ventilation, good sunlight ventilation, good penetration, good what flow is required, so that it is possible to mitigate this fog formation. This is called urban planning. So we are not supposed to think about the present condition. Rather, we have to think about present and even for the future generation as well. How can we mitigate this condition, and how it is possible to prevent in the coming days as well. That is the kind of futuristic view is the most important one. Reduce the emissions. Lowering the pollutants in the air reduces the smog, which is fog mixed with the particulate matter, right? So emission reduction is the most important one. Whenever water condensed and haziness or clouds generated, that immediately disappear when sunlight comes. But whenever pollutants got mixed up with this kind of haziness, what happened that what dispersal of that kind of smoke is very difficult to process. Pollutant mixed fog will not be easily removed. That continuously persisted on the earth surface, so that it used to induce so many health impacts. Whatever the things exposed to that kind of polluted air, so all got adversely impacted. So that emission reduction is the most important thing, and we have a zero emission concern, and zero emission day is also celebrated, that is September 21st. Mechanical and artificial methods. In addition to the things whatever we discussed, there are certain kind of additives, certain kind of man-made what remedies we have, mechanical and artificial remedies for this kind of fog removal process. Use the fans and blowers. Large scale fans and blowers can disperse the fog in the localized areas, right? Large scale fans can be utilized, and blowers, they blow the hot air so that whatever haziness is, they totally disappear, and clear vision, clear atmosphere is generated. So fog conditions immediately removed by creating air turbulence. So this is the way blowers and fans are working upon. Wherever the haziness is extremely large, these blowers and fans are utilized in order to make the air very clear. Heating the air, this is another thing. So it is not practically possible for the entire then environment. It is not possible to heat the entire earth, but wherever certain regions, we can choose the certain regions. At that condition, it is possible. Room heaters are available nowadays, and air heaters also available. At that particular instant, at that particular region, we can apply these air heaters. In some applications, heating devices are used to warm up the air so that condensation will be prevented. Whenever air is becoming very cool, then only condensation and haziness will be generated. So that these kind of heating devices can be applied. They used to blow the hot air. Whenever hot air blown into the environment, that used to avoid the condensation of the droplets of water. Vapor condensation will be completely prevented. And this is the larger device to clear the fog immediately. Whenever we are blowing the larger extent of hot air over there, sorry, hot air blown into the environment, what happens, it immediately clears the entire haziness. So that clearing the larger extent of fog condition are possible by means of this large device. And another method, we have thermal fog dispersers. Thermal fog disperser, nothing but which are used to improve the temperature. Whenever temperature improves, fog conditions will be totally cleared up. Here is the blowing device you can clearly observe, which used to rise the temperature so that haziness will be totally disappeared. Clearing the fog is possible, especially that kind of thermal fog dispensers are utilized in the airports. Whenever air transportation is very difficult, at that instance, we can utilize thermal fog dispersers. And on the runway, if a runway is not clear, it is not possible to take off the flight. In this condition, we can go for this thermal fog dispersers. By this, we totally completed the session. Hopefully, this is most important for the urban regions, especially in this winter season. And most of the remedies are handy in nature, and we can clearly apply so that it is possible to mitigate or else prevent that kind of fog conditions. Thank you very much for your patient listening. The session is conducted by Dr. Kavitha Kottireddy Kota. Thanks a lot.